Nipsey Hussle's brother Black Sam pushes Rockstar 2800 out of the Marathon Burger grand opening on Melrose Ave. Listen, Black Sam is standing on business. I know Nipsey is up there looking down like, that's my big bro.
Don't come over here trying to then guess what? Go do something and come back. Go get cracking and come back. That's what I said, bro.
Nip Hussle, a.k.a. Go Get It, at the speed of a marathon, taking his time, going down the line to find peace of mind. Can you understand that?
Minutes after Black Sam fired shots at Big U over the alleged Nipsey setup, Snoop Dogg was suddenly standing right in his face. And nobody believes this was some casual run-in. Word is Snoop's been orbiting the same exact circles Sam's been calling out for months. That's why this pull-up has LA buzzing, because those circles ain't just about parties. They're straight-up political battlegrounds. One wrong move, and you're not just cut off socially, you're erased from the whole power map. Big U's name has been swimming in whispers about Nipsey's final day for years. So when Sam finally said it on record, and Snoop appeared right after, the entire room froze. That moment wasn't just a coincidence. It felt like a coded message that something deeper is shaking in the shadows. When Snoop pressed up on Black Sam, it didn't come across like some West Coast homie hug. It felt like he was stepping straight onto enemy turf, and everybody watching could read the tension in the air instantly. This wasn't some heat that appeared out of nowhere either. Just a few weeks earlier, Sam was front and center at the grand opening of Marathon Burger. But he wasn't there just cheesing for cameras. He was on mission mode. If you peep the footage, you'll see him putting Rockstar 280 in check, not just calling him out but pressing him in public. Telling him flat out, if you're not putting in real work to honor Nipsey's name, you got no place standing here. And here's where the mess runs even deeper. Rockstar 280 ain't just some random up-and-coming rapper trying to eat. He's tied directly to Wack 100, one of Nipsey's loudest and most ruthless critics since the day he died. Wack's been on a non-stop campaign to drag Nip's name, ripping at his credibility every chance he gets. And that beef didn't just stay online. It's been seeping into the streets, into the industry, into every handshake and side-eye that happens behind scenes. And that's a part Sam has never been willing to let slide. But here's the thread that most people overlook. Wack 100 has always been tight with Big U.
Black Sam, Nipsey's brother, he told me he's a rat. First time they first fall out, when he first got Nipsey signed, Nipsey come back, fall out, they went down, there was a fight, rumble happened. I believe Big U knocked Nipsey out. Black Sam comes out, fires 3-4 shots in the head. He's fresh out the penitentiary. Police hit him right across the street, they see it. They come in, they arrest everybody. Black Sam's on parole. We bail Big U out. Big U tells us, the police tell him, they let Black Sam go before he got a bail. Which is, gun, firing, fresh out, ain't supposed to happen like that. He tell him, that's when ours leave him alone. So all these years, I've been looking at him like he's a rat anyway.
And every time Nipsey's final days get whispered about, Big U's name keeps spinning right back into the middle of it all. Sam made it clear. He's still got love for Nip, still got love for the family, and is not moving from hate. My heart's pure. I care about them to this day. It's nothing but a phone call. That's how he put it. But at the same time, he didn't bite his tongue. He admitted straight up, he still wants his fade. Do I want my fade? Yeah. For how it went down. Yeah. But after that, we can shake hands, or we ain't ever got to speak again. However it goes, it goes. Just leave it at that. That's the kind of energy Sam came with. Firm, but not fueled by hate. He wanted to make it clear. He's not out here to slander. He's not out here to tear anyone down. He just felt like things went way out of pocket.
What up, baby?
Hey.
The big homie.
Yes, sir.
TV superstar. Neighborhood star. Come on, man, you look good.
And there had to be accountability before any peace. No more, no less. And the wild part is, this is the same Big U who once mentored Nipsey in his come-up years, helping guide him through some of his earliest moves in the game. But that history was always complicated, deep, layered, and sometimes hostile. Behind the mentorship was tension, behind the brotherhood were fractures, and behind the smiles were grudges that never really healed. That's why when Sam's words hit, the weight landed heavy, because those old ties weren't just business, they were personal.
When I go to Chicago, I respect Chicago. Wholeheartedly, I check in. When I go to Atlanta, I check in. When I go places, I check in. And I don't think nobody is safe. I know dudes right now from LA who are actual gang members, who have been robbed for their jewelry, who real killers. Like who really real killers. Like.
So, picture this. Sam straight up telling Rockstar to fall back if he ain't really out here repping for Nip's legacy. And Rockstar wasn't about to just swallow that and walk away silent. He fired back with his own words, standing tall, but the energy was thick. Around Big U, I'm not, hey, we checking in, baby. The check-in is real. When your feet hit the street, you better check in. That wasn't just talk. That was a line drawn clear in the sand. But here's the part that makes it hit harder. This beef wasn't just about Rockstar. It was about the people tied to him. That Wack 100 connection runs deeper than most fans even realize. Wack has been rolling with Big U for years, and wherever Big U's name pops up, his shadow isn't far behind. That's why this whole clash feels bigger than one confrontation in the moment. It's part of a chain. And here's where things twist even more. Like it or not, Snoop's name keeps getting spotted floating around that same orbit. The same circles, the same affiliations, the same overlapping paths. To the outside eye, it might look casual. But in L.A., circles like that are never casual. They are political. They are territorial. And the second Sam called it out, the spotlight landed on everyone standing anywhere near those connections.
We didn't have an altercation in there and we dispersed or whatever. No, I wasn't going nowhere. I'm like, big bro, we got to figure it out.
How'd that conversation go?
It went from him coming from a place of not understanding, like, he's neglecting certain stuff. Like, you're putting me in a position that you know I'm not in, only because you're hurt. You get what I'm saying? And I can't tell him how to mourn, but you holding me responsible for another man's action. First and foremost, I was in jail, and you know how much I love your brother. How about this? When we were fighting, and Nipsey's dad seen who he was fighting, he like, that shit, bro, what the f*** are you doing? Like, this is y'all brother, like, what the f*** are y'all fighting for? He didn't even understand.
Snoop himself even spoke on the whole check-in system. He admitted him and Sam weren't seeing eye to eye at one point when he first came home, over the obvious tension everybody in L.A. already whispers about. They eventually sat down and chopped it up, but Snoop made it clear he had crossed paths with other people before he ever saw Sam, and none of them relayed the message, which meant only one thing. Somebody out here was playing both sides. And let's not forget, this isn't just some random misunderstanding. Didn't something go down at ComplexCon? That's right. Snoop ran into Black Sam with a whole squad around him. Sam didn't have to step forward, because Snoop walked straight into their circle himself. What followed wasn't some handshake and smile moment. It was a quick exchange, a disagreement over what everybody already knew was the elephant in the room. The same elephant Big U has been openly vocal about. Big U himself spelled it out clear, which is why when Snoop and Sam locked eyes in the same space, people knew instantly this wasn't casual. Sam didn't need to speak much. His presence said it all. And according to people in the room, you could feel the air shift. No yelling, no chaos, just two men carrying the weight of a long, complicated history, standing across from each other like the past itself was demanding answers. And here's the real twist. This ain't even the first time Sam had to stand firm in public. He already pressed Brick Baby over his ties to Eric Holder, the man convicted of taking Nips's life. Brick Baby himself admitted it nearly came to blows, and that Nip's own father had to step in to keep the situation from exploding. That's how serious Sam is about protecting Nip's legacy. Sam has checked anybody who even tried to downplay Nip's name in interviews. To him, disrespect isn't something you brush off, it's something you address head-on. Which brings us right back to Wack 100. He's still locked in with Big U, and Big U still keeps Snoop in his circle. For Sam, that Snoop pull-up wasn't just bad timing. It was a living reminder the same crew has been calling out for years. That's a moment that stopped being just another celebrity run-in. It became a statement. Sam made it clear, loyalty isn't what you say on camera, it's what you prove when the lines are drawn. And his moves show the entire room exactly where he stands. And if you stand with people who moved against his brother, then in Sam's eyes, you're instantly on the wrong side. But here's the kicker. To really grasp why that stare down carried so much weight, you've got to rewind, not just the Nip's era, but decades further back, because this ain't new. Some say we've seen this same pattern before, all the way back in the death row days with Tupac. And guess who was standing in the middle of both stories? Snoop. See, the Big U and Nipsey story didn't start with beef. Far from it. Back in the mid-2000s, Big U had just come home from prison. Already a respected figure in the rolling 60s, he played a massive role in giving Nipsey his first shot. We're talking early verses, music video pushes, and major industry connects. At one point, Big U even helped line Nip up on Tupac's posthumous album Pac's Life, a look that had Nip buzzing in L.A. before most people outside the city even knew his name. But that shine didn't last. Nip would later reveal that his contract with Big U's label was basically a lock. A 10-year production deal that started in 2009 and wasn't set to expire until 2019, the very same year Nipsey was killed. And in L.A., trying to walk away from a deal like that isn't just business paperwork. It's politics. It's respect. It's survival. Nipsey made it clear he wasn't going to be controlled. He dropped You Don't Got a Clue, a track many believe was aimed directly at Big U, calling out anyone trying to dictate his career. After that, it wasn't just words, it got physical. Multiple sources, from Loose Cannon to Whack 100, claim Big U confronted Nip face-to-face, even challenging him to a fight. That's when Black Sam stepped in, firing shots in the air just to shut it down. From that moment forward, Sam and Big U weren't just distant. They were enemies. And here's the bone. Despite all of this history, Snoop kept showing up right next to Big U. For Sam, this felt like straight deja vu, because he's seen Snoop move like this before, standing shoulder to shoulder with people his own allies were at war with all the way back to the Tupac days. West Coast war raging, loyalty lines were razor sharp. You were either with Pac or against him. But after Hit 'Em Up and all those bad boy disses, Snoop went on a New York radio station and said this. Even Napoleon from the Outlaws admitted, Snoop had a habit of smiling in Pac's face while quietly moving with the same people Pac was going at. And now in hindsight, fans are starting to see that same energy in the Nipsey situation. Because if you listen to certain voices in the LA streets, Nip's murder was far from random. In a Big Boy interview, Sam himself hinted Eric Holder, Nip's killer, was supposed to do a job that somebody sent him. Loose Cannon, later named in court filings as part of Big U's alleged extortion operation, even claimed Big U told him Nip was dead before it happened. He says he called Nip right after Big U told him, and Nip answered the phone alive. 30 minutes later, Nip was gone. That timeline doesn't just raise eyebrows. It flips the whole story on its head. And if you're Sam hearing that, then watching Snoop still shoulder to shoulder with Big U, just like he once stood with people Pac was beefing with, that's not just bad optics. That's history replaying itself in real time. But the tension between Snoop and Black Sam hasn't cooled. It's spread, and now it's tangled in something way bigger. Federal indictments, old street debts, a power game that's been in motion for decades. Let's start with the paperwork nobody wants to speak on. In February 2025, the feds quietly unsealed a multi-layer criminal complaint against Big U. On paper, extortion, property shakedowns, and gang tax collections. Off paper, the whispers say it's much deeper. This is the same network allegedly deciding who rises in La's rap scene, and who gets taken out before they can blow. And it's not just Big U catching heat. After that complaint dropped, Brick Baby got bagged too. Possession, conspiracy, and suspected cleanup work for the same network. Now here's where Snoop slides back in. His name ain't in the paperwork yet, but old photos and event footage show him with both Big U and Brick Baby, even after Nip's death. And the scariest part? A theory floating heavy. There's a West Coast power shuffle happening right now, with certain OGs staring straight at Fed time. This is the same network that's been pulling strings in La's rap scene for years, deciding who gets the spotlight and who gets snuffed out before they can shine. And now with Big U facing Fed pressure, the chessboard is shifting fast. Insiders say the vacuum left by these indictments has certain OGs scrambling for position. This isn't just about street politics. It's about controlling the pipelines, the live shows, the features, the very money flow of the scene. Because when you control that, you decide who eats and who starves. This is where it gets real shaky for Snoop. Even though his name's not on any paperwork, he's still being spotted at events with people tied into these indictments. Old footage and fresh sightings are now talking points in the streets, with folks wondering if he's staying loyal to the wrong camp or just keeping close enough to power to never be shut out. And let's be clear, this isn't paranoia. The feds are watching these moves. Multiple sources claim they've already started mapping connections, building timelines, and following money trails. If the whispers are true, they're not just looking to take down the players. They want to dismantle the entire network that's run the West Coast rap game from behind the curtain for decades. And if Snoop does land in that Fed spotlight, it won't just be about him. It'll drag decades of West Coast history into the light. Names, alliances, moves that were never meant to be on record. Street vets say that's the real danger here. Because once the feds get their hooks in, they don't just pull one thread. They unravel the whole fabric. Some insiders believe that's exactly why the power shuffle feels so tense right now. Certain OGs are already making quiet exits, cutting ties, and moving money out of sight. Others are doubling down, showing face at events and making sure they are still seen as players. And Snoop? His every move is being dissected. From old photos with Big U and Brick Baby to present-day sightings with figures now on federal radar. For Sam, all this just confirms what he's been saying. Loyalty isn't about smiling for cameras. It's about who you stand next to when things get ugly. And in his eyes, Snoop's choices keep placing him right in the blast zone. The real question is, if the shuffle turns into a full-blown takedown, will Snoop be able to step back untouched? Or will history finally catch up to him the same way it has to everyone else who's played too close to fire? Because there's a vacuum right now. And whoever locks in with the right power players today could control tours, label deals, and streaming checks for the next decade. If that's a game, then Snoop's not just keeping the peace. He's securing his seat at the table, even if it puts him on the opposite side of the people still fighting to keep Nip's legacy alive. And it's not just street chatter anymore. Bloggers, podcasters, and former industry insiders are piecing together old photos, interviews, and quiet fallouts, painting a picture where Snoop might not be the hero in Nipsey's story, but part of the machinery that made sure certain truths never came out. Meanwhile, the Marathon camp hasn't budged. Sam's gone on record saying, certain people can't come over here. A line many believe is aimed directly at the same circle Snoop still stands with. And every time Snoop pops up next to those faces, it's like pouring gasoline on a fire that's been smoldering for years. Subscribe, share, and comment on this video. Because the next chapter, it's not rumor. It's already writing itself.